At Kleine Zalze, we've got records of making wine back to 1695. So there is obviously a long history and pedigree of making wine here. The story that we're concerned with starts in 1996 when Besson, the current owner of Kleine Zalze, initially purchased the property and decided to redevelop it from a vineyard point of view, as well as to redevelop and modernize the winery and start a new Kleine Zalze, for lack of better words. It's a careful and calculated process, and myself and the viticultural team and the winemaking team are really putting plans in place to build on its success over the last 24 years and take that and really take it forward. In 1996, they planted a bit of everything. We could really tap into first-hand knowledge, not just scientific or gut feel, and finding out what worked best on our vineyards here at Kleine Zalze. And while we're fortunate enough in South Africa with different aspects and different slopes and different soil types within a relatively small area, you can do quite a lot of stuff really well. But our philosophy is, if you want to compete on a global context, you have to be the best. On the top of the hill of our vineyards are these beautiful, deep, relatively clay-rich soils, but with enough gravel. It's a little iron sort of stone, we refer to it as coffee clip, that run through the profile that gives good drainage, but you get a freshness and an elegance to the wines, and they work particularly well with Cabernet Sauvignon. So it's probably about 65% will be Cabernet Sauvignon. Various clones and various rootstocks matched to specific sites. So Cabernet is a big strength for us, but then some of the sites lower down on the alluvial soils where the river, the Blauwklippen River that runs through the property, has deposited some sediments over the years. And there's some really good Shiraz sites. There are small pockets of things like Cabernet Franc and Merlot, but those are more as complements to the Cabernet to help us blend and make the Cabernet stronger. I think you've got to have a sense of direction. When you're trying to make wines at a really high level that have a sense of place, you've got to try and come back to the place that they're coming from. So essentially back to the vineyards. But it's important that the winemaking aligns with what you're getting from your terroir. You can't force a wine to be something it doesn't want to be and still show a sense of place. And as a winery, we are really trying to focus on getting the best out of our terroir, and then again going back to my hard and fast rule on winemaking wherever it might be, but especially here at Kleine Zalze, is finding balance. And that balance is also trying to look at an elegance. And really over the last 7 years that I've been here, RJ, who's the head winemaker, and myself have really been working very hard on how to add an element of freshness and a balance into the wines and focus on letting the terroir shine through rather than winemaking technique. The winemaking is relatively naked. It is very basic winemaking. It's growing really good fruit and then treating it with respect in the winery and letting the wine do the talking rather than the winemaking do the talking. And that in itself is quite a challenge. There's quite a bit of winemaking involved in that.